The power of one more. Ed Milet is the content that we're using to lead. And here we are in chapter 11, kind of a funky title. One more impossibility thinkers and possibility achievers. So what I love about the content is tying in the action component. I know at some point we're probably going to hear from Ryan with Fire and Brimstone on Get Your Ass in Gear, which is going to be fun. And yet there were a lot of interesting nuggets tying these two pieces together that I want to hear from you guys. So who wants to be the first to share what they pulled out of the content? Man, Ryan's jumping right on it. All right, brother.
I don't know if I have Fire and Brimstone today.
Fair enough.
On page 142, it says it's when you combine the impossibility of thinking, intentional actions aimed squarely at achieving your dreams, that you become the possibility achiever. And I look at what I'm working on right now, and it's the thing that I see from myself, and I can't say this about anybody else. I can only say about myself is I struggle with that, taking that dream. I have the vision. I'm able to execute it, but I cannot get the rest of the team to believe as much in my dream as I believe in the vision of what we're building. So I'm not getting them to be as like just all in. And that's the struggle that I have, because I always have to continue to come back and fill in the gaps, and I never get to take the next step up. So that's the struggle that I have.
So let's talk about that. Let's coach on that a little bit today, since we're jumping into it, because there were some key components that I think might help connect the disconnect.
Yeah.
Okay, Ryan, whose dream?
It's my dream.
And so what should we actually be focused on if we desire to get them taking bigger actions?
I don't know.
How about
you guys I see everyone doing this, but I do that.
Hold on. How about their dreams?
Yeah.
Make it all about them. We talk a lot, and as we get into this business building and really building an organization, a system, an operation, a company, whatever your dreams are, and your dreams are big, truly being a leader is getting them into their dreams. We had some fun on this earlier today on a conversation, because there's somebody else, Ryan, that's struggling with the same stuff right now in our world. And so we were having a coaching conversation this morning, because one of the kind of lessons out there with some people in business is you've got to be a jerk to be successful. You got to be a jerk to get things moving forward. And I will say you've got to be a jerk to be successful in the short run. Because what is success all about? Back to you. Success is about you, your success, what you want. And if you're a jerk and you're pushy and you're nasty and you're taking advantage of everybody, you very well might get there. And there's going to be two significant challenges. One, you really aren't going to have followers and supporters. You're only going to have subordinates who are working with you because of your positional leadership, not your true leadership. And number two, when things go awry, and they always do, those people are going to disappear. So instead, you make it, as you're growing, as you're building, about them, about their dreams, about what you can do to make their world come together. And I'll give you a great example of this tying together. I don't know why, people. Oh, man. I tell you, I've been a busy boy today, and that shouldn't be ringing. I hit something wrong. Sorry about that. So let's jump back into what I want to go with this, because the sentence you read ties it all together. It's when you combine the impossibility thinking, the dream, the big vision, the this isn't possible, with intentional actions. Tie that in. So now, as we're talking about, we're taking intentional actions to uncover what they want. We're taking intentional actions to uncover what we can do to support each other. In fact, tying this into a sentence above, because man, hit me right between the eyes with so many people I talk to in real estate. The man who does more than he is paid for will soon be paid for more than he does. So many people I hear in real estate, well, that's not my job. I'm not going to do it. Supporting others, building them up is not your job. And yet when you get intentional about it, find their dreams, Ryan, and help them make those happen, magic happens. I want to end with this, and Justin's in the room. Man, he told a great story this morning about how when you get these intentional actions and you have a heart of service, the universe aligns. Because he's got an unreasonable, quote, impossible thinking dream of 1,000 people in his organization. And he's taking the intentional actions of lead genning and having conversations and prospecting every day. And he set himself an appointment for somebody in freaking Philadelphia while he's in Chicago. So he's having the conversation in Philadelphia, and the guy talks about Stacy Caroli, who is in this room on a regular basis. Justin's texting everybody, who's got Stacy's number? Stacy magically shows up in that room, has the conversation with Justin and the person he wants to be in business with, who happens to be interviewing a second brokerage that Stacy knows everything about. And all the stars aligned, and this person is meeting with Stacy right now, which is why she isn't here. Not going to be in Stacy's financial world, not going to be somebody she's recruiting yet. She's doing more than she's paid for. She's got a heart of service. She's taken an intentional action to make Justin's dream happen. And just like Justin has magic happening, same thing's happening for Stacy. Take these steps, install them with faith and belief, and magic absolutely comes together. Mark, I see you're going. I saw Ann click in, and I see a lot of other folks too. So we're going to go Mark, we're going to go Ann, and then Alicia, I see you. Let's go.
I just want to tagline for Ryan, and I know he's frustrated. I will say this as far as the team is concerned, is that if your team has the same passion and vigor and energy as you, then they don't necessarily need you, and they won't be on your team. So my experience is your team will never get it to the degree that you are, Ryan. And if you have to be frustrated at your team sometimes. You have to be because you're always wanting more. You're always wanting to get more out of them. Like what Russ is absolutely correct. When you're frustrated, you're upset, go back and pour into your team and find out what are their goals, what are their dreams, and then ask them, how can I help you? And when they see that it aligns with what you're trying to do, you can be frustrated with them, and you can have that conversation with them and say, guys, I thought you said you wanted to sell 25 homes. You're only at 18. We got 2 more months left. What changed? Did your dreams change? Did your goals change? And you can have those honest conversations, because it's not about you pushing your agenda on them. It's about you bringing them accountability back to what their goals are. And my experience has been, I had a young lady, she's been with me for 20 years. We did everything right with this person. I mean, she was a rock star agent. Not many people can say they had a buyer's agent for 20 years. And her husband took a job in another state and she moved. I had an assistant that was with us for 5 years. It's rare to have an assistant more than 5 or 6 years. It's very rare because they don't get paid a lot. And so you have to figure out other ways to compensate them. And her daughter was getting bullied. And so she decided to quit and homeschool her daughter. My point to you is, Ryan, is that I don't believe that you're going to have anybody in your organization that's going to be like you. If you do, they're going to leave and do their own business. They're going to leave and do it. You're always going to ask, I want more of them. I want more of them. I want more of them. And there's nothing wrong with that, but it has to go back to and ask them, what are their dreams and their goals? And they're not going to match yours. They're never going to match yours, because if they did, they would not be with you. And your job is to figure out how to align them with the larger vision of the team, saying, hey, and this is the perfect thing, is that I'm going to rise by bringing other people with me. I'm not going to leave you down there. You're not going to be necessarily a subordinate. You're going to be a team member, and you're going to be a part of the team. And this is how we're all going to do it together. And each person on your team is going to have their own value. One's going to have different strengths than the other. And your responsibility, or our responsibility as a leader, is to figure out what that is and how to plug them into the right seat on the bus. Remember the old saying, it was get the right people on the bus and the right people in the right seat, right? And that's what our responsibility is. And to my understanding, I watched Gary Keller get up on stage and say this, I wake up frustrated every freaking day. And I think that's part of being an owner. I don't know. Rush, correct me if I'm wrong.
It's definitely part of being a leader, because everybody doesn't see the world the same way and with the same passion and energy you do, Ryan, and you do, Mark, and you do, Chris, and everybody in this room does. There's one thing on that, Mark, I want to tweak slightly, which I think can change the game for everybody, though. I want more of them. I want more of them. I want more of them, you said. I want you guys to change that to, I want more for them. I want more for them. I want more for them. As Zig Ziglar said, you help enough people get what they want, and you will get everything in your world you can imagine. It'll show up. And I've got you next, Alicia, Jeanette. I got you on the list as well.
All right. So first, Mark, that was awesome. Loved everything you said. Thank you. Super powerful. Ryan, I'm seeing in the comments you're saying you do all of those things. And I think anybody who's in this room on the daily, man, we all know it. Like it pours off you. We know that. Also, we're all here improving. And so, you know, good on you for showing up today and being like, I'm struggling today. Like this is a struggle for me sometimes. So what I wanted to chime in on was I watched a training recently, and this woman was talking about how she was in an elevator with a woman, or maybe a book story, who knows, I don't remember exactly, but top elevator, got on the elevator with a man and a woman, and the woman asked a guy a question, and he answered the question, and you know, a couple floors down, she's still asking questions. She asked him another question, he asked him another question, she asked him another question. They get to the bottom, and the man turns to her and says, "Ma'am, you are the most interesting person I have met in a long, long time." And she didn't say a darn word about herself. She only asked about him. Like, that's the truth. People only care about themselves. We are really just like, you know, what are they called in video games? I forget what it's called. Like just a side character. Like, we just float through the world. It's their world. We are just in it. So I thought that was interesting in alignment with this conversation.
And also a great aha on that elevator story of, you know, I'd love to take it as my own quote, yet it's Chris's, our ROI buddy. Don't be interesting, be interested. That's what that plays into. And again, with your people, the more interested you are in them, the more you're going to learn about what they desire, and the more you can help them. Alicia, you're up.
So I was going to say that it kind of, what you guys are talking about really aligns with actually what Expert Partners is doing. Because I know someone who was with EXP and left EXP and now has left real estate altogether because they joined and they had no support. They said they felt alone. So that was one of the barriers for me joining EXP. It was like you're completely on your own. But I took the little leap of faith and I got way more than I thought I was going to get, which is so good because, anyone who's in real estate, they may not want to build a team, but they sure as heck want to make some money, and so putting those actionable things. And again, it's talking in here about measuring what you do, control what you do, and what you do is measurable. That's on page 143. And, I think another thing, I can't remember where it's at, but it's basically saying doing something doesn't really cost you anything. You know, you lose nothing. That's it. 142. You lose nothing by challenging yourself. Yeah. So that's what I have to say.
Well, and that one's huge, Alicia. You lose nothing by challenging yourself. We have a lot of folks in this room. And by the way, thank you for the props on just the different environment we're creating, the different world, not just on the brand, in the entire industry. What we're doing in this little corner is so radically different. Every day, this 30 minutes alone, and all of you showing up almost every single day, and more coming. Learning, implementing something every single day, taking something from this room, as Alicia says, and challenging yourself with it. You lose nothing by taking on that challenge. You gain everything by making a 1% improvement every single day. Jeanette, you were next up, my dear.
I just heard something that I hadn't heard before, and I put it in the chat. Impossible equals I'm possible. Just change the words. I just yesterday is when I heard that. So, because that's true, we are. This whole chapter is about overcoming the impossible. And the thing is, if there's enough, if you can picture it, if you can see it, if you can think it, then it's a possibility. And it doesn't really become a possibility until we start seeing it. Occasionally that happens, but I'm excited just the things that are becoming, just Doug and I are looking to connect some pieces together, and a drive in that came into me. I saw that who will it cost if we don't do this? What will it cost if we don't do this? It's not how can I do this? It's what will it cost if we don't? And who will it cost if we don't do this? It's not an option.
Yeah. And as we've said before, the moment you need the money, it's too late. By the way, that's the moment you need everything. The moment you need the knowledge, it's too late. The moment you need anything. So this room, what we're doing here is moving you ahead. So when those moments come up, like happened with Justin, magic happens. And one other thing I want to have a little fun with you, because you took this impossible and you just changed the punctuation to I'm possible. And how important is punctuation? Let's eat grandma. Without the comma, they're two radically different situations, aren't they, Mike? So what else you guys have?
I got something for you, Coach.
Yeah, what do you got, brother?
This hits hard because my first real estate deal, it was like, everyone involved in their opinion was like, this is impossible. You'll never get this deal done. It's impossible. It was like an owner-occ buyer with two tenants in there. Long story short, we made it possible. And then I put it as a slogan where we make the impossible possible, because, a lot of people always say that's impossible. You can't do that. You can't, it's not going to close. But then, so that hit hard. The second thing I wanted to hit was watching your silent movie, because this already impacted me this morning. I'm like, okay, what if someone is watching me? What I'm doing right now, how does that, how are they going to portray me, or how does that look, right? Is that what I would want to see from myself? So that little part, it was so impactful just from the get, as soon as I read it afterwards, because it's again, hitting you like hard, of like seeing, is that really what you want your movie to look like? So just, I wanted to plug in those 2 points from the book. That was like on page 145.
Well, thank you for that. And that silent movie is so critical for ourselves as well as for how we interact and observe others. It's the concept I've always said when I'm coaching someone, where the audio doesn't match the video. What they're saying doesn't match what they're doing. By the way, we all have an internal filter for that. You're talking to someone, you just know something's not right. Let's just say it's a used car sales guy. Those things happen. The audio doesn't match the video, and the video tells the truth. So I love the other example in here too of practicing that. Watching a movie, he put in there a romantic comedy with the audio off and really study the physical cues and turn that part of your intuition on, turn that empathy, if you will, on to where you're able to read people better and better. A lot of this empathic individuals, or even those folks that, read palms, etc. What they're really actually good at is reading people and that physical silent movie. Cheryl, what do you got?
Goodness gracious, we start with Eleanor Roosevelt, we end with Martin Luther King, we have Mahatma Gandhi, we've got Napoleon Hill, and there seems to be a common thread woven through each one of these, and that's our thoughts and our actions will get us to where we want to go. And I love that silent movie because, that's like taking your own self-assessment. That's really being in tune with your dream or your vision or where you truly want to go. And so we do need to have a deep understanding, right? Right people on the bus in the right seat. The greatest successes and the greatest times that I've had in my life, it doesn't matter what career it is, have been when every one of us were aligned. So that alignment's key. And I do have to say that women's intuition, it isn't just women's intuition, there's discernment, and it is highly trained, right? If you don't have it and you focus on this, you train yourself, you will be able to create things in life that no one ever dreamt of. I'm going to go back like 35 years when I was transitioning from wholesale fine jewelry into retail. I had no budget, working for my number one client in Austin, Texas. I had a minimum wage to sell high-end stuff, Italian imports, the high-end Swiss watches. I hired college kids for minimum wage and 2% commission and grandmas who were coming out of retirement. But every single one of us learned a single goal, a single phrase, and 35 years later, the frumpiest guy failing out of college is one of the top leaders in Swiss watches in the United States, just from creating a vision to work toward. The state created a job, a role for my mini-me who still works she's about to retire and she's a decade younger than me, created a role for her because she learned something and found a passion about how to navigate and work with people. And so I just wanted to encourage anyone who hasn't, one, honed in on their dream or their passion, what their strengths are, and two, that intuition is going to help you not just with your clients, but in helping build your team. So yeah, I just like this chapter is like, I can't imagine how much more you could pack into this little, condensed file here. And you can just take one little component of it for the need in your life or the next level goal.
Yeah, and I appreciate you bringing in the one nugget, just kind of touching on it, the specialized knowledge, how, the state created a role for someone that had the specialized knowledge. Yeah. And I've got an agent right now that I am working on bringing over out of Phoenix, Arizona. And he is an absolute guru on probate. That's her specialized knowledge. She gets everything else. This is why we talk niches. And one of the things I want to put in here for you guys, Think and Grow Rich. You might as well get it now. It is on our reading list for later this year. We're going to be kicking it old school and going step by step through that one as well. Chris, brother, the mic's hot. What do you got?
Good morning. Hey, I like this. I like this here. Thinking about thinking and growing rich. What about think and do rich? Think and do rich. Dreams and thoughts without accompanying actions will only depress and frustrate you. That's on the bottom of the page on 142. And I love that. I mean, many of us, the other day on the Epic Accelerators call, we talked about if we're building an organization, and I've got to share with you guys, the larger your organization gets, the more challenging this becomes, because we're always looking for new blood. You're always looking for new blood. You can't, we're looking for thinkers. We're also looking for doers. They go in pairs. What else does it say here? It says thoughts and actions act as a pair. So if we're wanted to build an organization, wanted to grow an organization, we always have to be adding to that organization. We can't just maintain. And so I've struggled with this for years, because we built a workshop here every month. We've built organizations. But I'm looking for thinkers and doers. And then guess what? That's where I know where my time is being spent, is with the thinkers and the doers. The thinkers are just thinkers. They're thinking about talking to 200 or 400 or 1,500 people by the end of the year. But are those accompanying with actions? And the actions are what we're looking for. And that's how you build. That's ultimately how you find and seek out the buy-in, because we're wanting buy-in. And how do we find the buy-in? We just keep having new conversations every single day, and the right people will come into our lives.
Absolutely. And by the way, Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich. The real content, like you said, of the book is think and bust your ass and work hard and do a whole lot of activities and grow rich. And yet that title wouldn't have been very good, would it, Mark? So makes it seem it's just sit around, think and grow rich. Well, now there's one more step in there that he hits at a high level. And Justin, I saw your mic come hot. So close us out, brother. Bring us home.
Yeah, I just wanted to kind of circle back to the beginning of the call when Ryan was talking about feeling some frustrations or challenges time to time with you bring people in and then they don't share that vision. The people that don't share the vision are probably going to be the easiest to influence to get in. People that have a really deep and complex vision it's going to take you a while to partner with people with that kind of depth. And so I understand exactly what you're saying. And I would tell you this: in my past business experience in construction, everybody that was high end grew up and went and did their own thing. Much like Mark was saying. I mean, it happens exactly like that. And the reframe is this: like, we're super fortunate that we have an opportunity that they can grow up and do their own thing, and still be in your world here. And the people that just don't have the vision at all and quit or whatever to go do something else, those are always going to be the easiest to bring into your world and the hardest to keep in your world.
Here to see someone?
So,
You have an appointment?
hi, Steven. So yeah, that's what I got. I think I definitely understand. I've been in that boat. I've had that exact feeling. I've had it here. I've had it there. I've had it everywhere. And I would say that is the big difference that we have, or pivotal piece, is that we at least have an opportunity that if we help them build their vision and they decide to plug that into this platform, we get the opportunity to continue in business with them.
Absolutely, brother. And thanks for bringing us home with that. So Ryan, everybody else, hey, there's going to be frustrations of people real estate is the simplest, easiest business if it wasn't for the people. Okay. And that's what we get paid to do. That's our part of this, is figuring those darn people out in all their glorious uniqueness and crazy and emotion when it's residential.